Hello, everybody out there, whoever you are, on the internet. I am here in my living room on the last Saturday of the month in Portland, Oregon, and I am completely unprepared for this broadcast. I've been spending the entire morning writing an essay and I just finished. I got up very early, and I only just finished in the midst of playing with the children and everything. And when they woke up, and I have not been playing music for days. I've just been doing other things. So, related to houseless communities and tents, mainly, other than children. And so I was thinking maybe I'd just do songs that where there's tents in them. I don't know if there's any tents in this song, but I'm very open to your comments, questions, etc. The piece I've been writing all morning is about Kelly Butte, which is I wrote a song about that, which is actually it's one of the several songs I've done with Virtual Bird, Jane Reynolds, which you can find in a playlist on SoundCloud. And it's called Kelly Butte, and I don't know how it goes because she does it, and I only wrote the lyrics. But it's amazing place, Kelly Butte. It's a beautiful place, but it's like the history of it is a prison rock quarry, and I think it's going to become ground zero for the struggle for justice among the houseless. And so I think you should all quit what you're doing, come to Portland, and meet me at Kelly Butte, and read my latest blog post. It'll be in Counterpunch soon, I believe. And here's a related song. I think this has never been, hasn't appeared on any albums yet. This one, I don't think so. Old cloth torn and fraying, came like a clarion call to illustrate the same. United we stand, divided we fall. A thin veneer torn by disease, shredded the great con laid bare, come from across the seas, now floating in corpse that's lying exposed. All of us now can see all that the cadaver shows about a society. The veil of fantasy lifted, that gives us at least some idea how another world is possible. Hear her breathing now. Like the red blood that flows from the bullet, whether coated in rubber or not. Like the faces you see in the helmet, reflecting the thickening plot. Driven by such a villain, as a thing exponential allows, it says another world is possible. And I can hear her breathing now. Like the pallor on so many faces, on every end of the town, on the murals in so many places, boarded up long ago, shut down, making all the connections between the mule and the plow, that says another world is possible. And I smoke rising up coast to coast, with formations that brighten the skies, like Lord Thomas Jefferson's ghost. His victims no longer disguised, as his visage falls into the river, like the skull of an old sacred cow that says another world is possible. And I can hear her breathing now. Let's see. I take requests good. Glad somebody, Mark Ford, discovered me a few months ago. Great. Paco's watching from Barcelona. Wonderful. And let's see. What's to do? I just haven't been thinking about singing lately. I've just been in other realms, so directions are welcome. But let's see, what's this? I'm just looking at my songs here in alphabetical order. I put together a set list, sort of. Not really. It's a list of 170 songs, but it's like my favorite 170 songs that I wrote, basically. These days, my favorite at the moment. I love it. You got Barcelona, UK. That's my favorite thing about the internet. Let's see, we'll adjust that maybe a little, the camera a little. Some people, we can also maybe get rid of that thing, and then you can see my hands. Okay, trying to make the guitarists out there happier. A little more. The rug pulled out so many times. Who knows where's the floor? Folks look more ragged by the day. I can give them a few bucks. Wonder what the future holds. Wish them luck as I walk on by. The people on their porches, chairs out on a deck. Sometimes you can tell which ones received their checks, which ones are still waiting after all these many weeks, wondering if this is what it smells like. Schitt's Creek as I walk on by. Children ask me, not quite sure what to say. Why the playground's always empty, where the kids all used to play. Why the people cross the street now whenever we come near? Where did all the people go who used to be here? As I walk on by, I go out with my headphones on like everybody else does, listening for news suddenly relevant, because we all want to know how the virus might transform all of us still here, weathering this storm. As I walk on by, as I walk on by, landlord, failed state, pure. Okay. Oh, good. We got a bunch of good ones to go with. I can get to some of those. That's a great set list right there. Let's see. Oh. I never remember what I did a month ago, so I can't say that I'm gonna avoid doing what I did a month ago, because that would require either remembering what I did or looking it up, which is boring. And I don't do that. So May Day's coming up. May Day's this coming Saturday, actually, which is used to be my busiest day of the year. But that was before the pandemic. So this will be the second May Day, which is decidedly not that busy. Although I do have several online gigs in several different countries. In fact, to the extent you can do gigs in several different countries online. They're all going to happen from my living room, but I'll be playing at different events in Denmark, Canada, the U.S., and Scotland and Ireland. But usually on May 1st, I'm touring around in Denmark and Sweden, sometimes other places around there. Basically, it's like Christmas for me, and I love those places. But I love other places, but I just, I end up with so many good gigs in the same day there that it's no contest. I of course have to go to Denmark. I love doing 5 gigs in one day. It's the only day of the year I ever have done 5 gigs in one day. And May 1st, it's coming up this weekend, International Workers' Day. There was, I often do this song. Let's see if I can remember it. Let's see. No, let's try something I might remember better. Landlord's an idea, but May 1st coming up. So International Workers' Day. What might I do that's related to International Workers' Day? Let's see. How about this one? Gather round, all you workers, whether you have a job or not. You who pick the tomatoes, grow the pot. You who stay home to raise the children. Raise the children. How's this go? tune even. Also, that key doesn't seem to be working. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I should prepare for these things, but I guess the nice thing is there's 100 other things you can do if I'm too boring. Gather round, all you workers, whether you have a job or not. You pick the tomatoes, you who grow the pot. You stay home, raise the children, you that record the sound. You who flip the burgers, all you workers. Gather round, all you workers, all of you who pull the shots. You who wash the dishes, park the cars in parking lots. You who dig the ditches to put the caskets in the ground. You who clean the bathrooms, all you workers, gather round. All you workers, all of you who write the code. You who teach the children. You who pave the roads. You who run the freight trains wherever they be bound. You who drive the buses, all you workers, gather round, gather round. You workers struggling to pay the rent. You work a second job and wonder where all the time went. You there in the sleeping bag, shivering on the ground. In the houses, on the sidewalks, all you workers gather round. Workers, all you actors on the screen. You who point the cameras and write for magazines. You who launch the missiles. You who fire them from the ground. You who fly the helicopters. All you workers, gather round, gather round. All you workers, gather round. You will know that gathered all together we can vanquish any foe. As sure as we're made of water, so history has found. The workers have the power if all we workers gather round. What? Somebody else meant. Oh, that's a good one. I could do that one. Ballad of a Wobbly. That's a very May 1st song. Plus, it has a really cool guitar part. That's a good one, too. I'll do that. They all sang the Internationale. That's a very May 1st one. Of course. This country, left Scotland far behind, evicted from the Highlands, told to go and find a new life in America across the Atlantic Sea, where I joined the millions of other refugees who ended up at Ellis Island as the century began. The wretched of the earth from every foreign land. When I came to this country, I came to this country, broken and bereft. I quickly saw I'd have been no worse off if I'd never left. Such awful deprivations as I never had to face, borne by Swedes and Russians, Africans, and every other race. Millions of people trying not to end up dead. How's it go? Millions of people trying not to end up dead from cholera or black lung or being clubbed in the head. I came to this country to have something on my fork. It was obvious the first thing was to get out of New York. I learned to hop the freight trains, some other stiffs and I caught a westbound rattler to give Oregon a try. Signed up for the logging camps, became a timber beast. If I'd stayed there any longer, I'd have surely been deceased. If I came to this country, I worked at copper mines in Butte. I was a candy dancer in Spokane in a candy dancer suit. I heard the rebel girls speak one night in a railway yard. I joined the union right away and got my first red card. Became a hobo organizer for the one big union grand, preaching a wobbly gospel across the starving land. Country, I soon enough lost track of the number of times I felt a billy club upon my back, or how many times I saw the tents with freezing kids working in the mines instead of living on the skids. How many times I heard the horrid crying from below of those trapped there in the dungeons with nowhere left to go. I came to this country, it was a hopeful time of desperation. The red flags flew all across the nation, but when the war began in Europe, we refused to die and kill. We refused to fight a boss's war and serve the boss's will. That's when they got the Legion to burn down our union halls all across the land where there used to be 4 walls. To this country, I had no great expectations, but I didn't think I'd end up back here awaiting deportation on a steamship on the Hudson. I watched the sunset fade with 20,000 others swept up in the Palmer raids, counting myself lucky that I'm still alive, remembering the moment that I first arrived when I came to this country. When I came to this country, when I came to this country, May 1st is coming this weekend. Can we please just have the revolution on May 1st? Like, people just stop talking about it. Everybody's out there with their red flags. Just stay out there. Just stay there. See what happens. Just don't go home. Hey, Wolfgang. Perfect. This is a song about Katerina Jakob's grandmother, Katerina Jakob. Katerina Jakob, long before she took that name, was organizing workers in Hamburg just the same. Organizing beneath a flag of deepest red, a new dawn of peace and freedom clearly shining in her head. Katerina Jakob first was sent to jail when the trappings of democracy all began to fail. She was frequently arrested, in and out of custody, while her first husband was in hiding from the Nazis. Katerina Jakob was acquitted of a crime, but the Gestapo had the last word. They weren't finished with her this time. She was sent to Ravensbrück, a killing hunger at her side. She heard of the execution, how her second husband died. For Katerina Jakob, the end was close at hand. She was on a death march with a ragged, starving band, marching through a forest, being led by the SS. What would happen hours later seemed impossible to guess. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. They all sang the Internationale. Katerina Jakob thought about her children and the friends and comrades taking care of them, not knowing yet if any of them survived, not knowing that soon she'd see her daughters both alive. Katerina Jakob watched the German soldiers fleeing, streaming from the east, that's what she was seeing. Allied bombers flew above them, she thought they all might die, and then soon there was the silence of all the SS men. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. They all sang the Internationale. Katerina Jakob saw red flags flapping the breeze above the Russian tanks, and she fell upon her knees. And so many different voices in so many different tongues sang the most beautiful song that could ever have been sung. In German, Lithuanian, in Polish, and in Dutch, a myriad of melodies as never had been such. In Russian and in Yiddish, Italian and French, emerging from the forest beneath a trench. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. When the sun rose the next morning, it was the 1st of May, and they all sang the Internationale. They all sang the Internationale. Volke, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. Volke, hört die Signale auf zum letzten Gefecht. Die Internationale erkämpft das Menschenrecht. And what else? It's always so quiet around here. I mean, it's supposed to be. May 1st. And it seems like even if I don't try to sing songs related to tents, most of my songs involve tents. I have not really been remembering to do that, but it's not a problem. It just happens. And, yeah. What else? Gotta do this one. Police killed a man on 92nd and Holgate here in Portland on April 12th, I believe it was. No, was it up? No, I'm confusing my dates. It was very recently. More recently than that, I think, actually. And they shot a man through his door, closed door, DeKalb, Georgia. It's getting no press at all. Columbus, Ohio. Jacob Blake was walking to his SUV. Alton Sterling was selling DVDs. Eric Garner had just broken up a fight. Breonna Taylor was asleep in the middle of the night. Tamir Rice was playing in the park. Elijah McClain was out walking after dark. Dominique Clayton was sleeping in her bed where she was shot by a cop in the back of her head. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Walter Scott was driving to a store. Betty Jones was answering her door. Philando Castile was driving home with his girlfriend. Anthony Hill was naked on the grass when he met his end. Edsel Ford was walking in his neighborhood. Michael Brown was blown away just standing where he stood. Kendra James was shot to death at a traffic stop by yet another unaccountable killer cop. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Atiana Jefferson was playing a video game with her little nephew. Gunned down just the same. Oscar Grant was celebrating the new year. Handcuffed when the shots rang out that everyone could hear. Eric Reason pulled into a parking spot. Not long after that was when he was shot. George Floyd was just shopping in a store. Micah Xavier Johnson thought he was still at war. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Say their names. Now, let's see. What's the other? Yeah, Kurt brings up such an important point about how, here in Germany, no one has guns and the police shoots a person once in 5 years. And that's about right. And if you doubt that, well, check it out. It's really doesn't need to be like this at all. At all. And, also, even in so many countries, the police don't even carry guns unless there's gun crime. Oh, Austria. Sorry, Kurt. Austria. I mean, I guess in Germany, there's a lot of cops who do carry guns, but nothing like here. I mean, the riot cops don't even have guns when they're riot cops. And people thought that was a funny point that I made, that, oh, the riot cops don't have guns in Germany. People in Germany said, oh, that's a funny point because, of course, what would they do with the with the guns while they have their shields and their sticks, right? But you actually obviously have not been here because because they uh, they have these things called holsters and sheaths, and they don't need to limit themselves to two items. They have things hanging all over their bodies, weapons. Their bodies are hanging with weapons, and multiple weapons. It's amazing they can even keep track of them. I mean, it's like, it's actually. I don't believe the cop who says who supposedly claims to have been firing her taser when she shot Dante Wright. I don't believe that, but the fact is they are carrying many, many different weapons at the same time on a normal basis. So-called non-lethal ones, as well as yeah. Um, Yeah, that's as you point out, Kurt. The problem is if you're always afraid to get shot, you're going to do stupid things. Of course, of course. If you're afraid the cops are going to shoot you, then you're much less likely to want to stop and pull over and do what they say, or you're likely to do those things out of fear. But either way, if you're motivated by total terror, if you're petrified by fear, it's really not a good motivator. Generally, it ends up with bad things. A lot of bad things. Well, let's see. I mean, in Maximilian, you point out in Germany they have guns but aren't trained to be warrior cops, and not only that, it's like, what is this warrior cop thing? Like, in Germany, it is standard practice. As I recall, last I recall reading about this, it is standard practice in Germany that if you're a cop and if you're in a situation where you actually end up shooting somebody, you're taken off the street. Very, very long term. I can't remember if it's like there's all kinds of jobs you can't even get at that point in Germany. I mean, it's really they take that very seriously. It's you're considered to be mentally unfit at that point because you were involved with this traumatic event of killing somebody. Not because you necessarily even did the wrong thing. That's the mentality among in Germany that I've to the extent that I'm familiar with it. I've read about it. I mean, I've been there a lot, but this is according to stuff I was reading. Around the time of the G8 in Rostock in 2007, dozens of cops broke their bones and dozens of, autonomen broke their bones, but nobody died. There were right wing politicians in Berlin that were calling for the German police to be armed with projectile weapons, and they you were there too, Kurt, and they dropped my pick. And the police chief said, "No, thank you. We don't want guns. That will just escalate things," he said. Basically, if we have guns, then what's going to happen next? Who else is going to get them next? It won't be broken bones; it'll be people dying. Amazing. You just that level of sensibility. I mean, even in a country with flaws in it. Rostock G8 was amazing, wasn't it, Kurt? Oh my God, it was incredible. That whole region was completely shut down. I mean, people blockaded the entire region. The only way, for those many of you who were not there, the only way that the delegates were able to get around was by a boat and by helicopter. It was really wonderful. Okay, but people are talking about IWW songs. Yeah, I can do IWW songs. Let's see. Kurt, you're pointing out Switzerland has a lot of guns, but they're all hunting rifles that fire one shot at a time. They're not automatics. which makes the difference. I mean, but you're right, of course. A lot of countries that have a lot of guns that don't have this kind of violence level, but the fact that you can get assault weapons here so easily, it makes a big difference. And the fact that every generation of Americans is a traumatized bunch of military veterans. And traumatized, of course, by so many other things. Oh, really? They take their guns home from the military? Like automatic weapons? I gotta look into that. Loaded? I don't know. I need People say these things and then I don't know what the really? Loaded. They go home with loaded automatic weapons? The Swiss military? Okay. I clearly need to look into this more. That's fucking crazy. I know the Israeli military does that, but I mean, there's also really strict penalties, like if you lose your weapon or if you're missing a bullet. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's a fucking fucked up world out there. So who knows what goes on? I just know that this country is totally fucked. That's my eloquent statement for the day. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely have to catch up on Swiss gun law here for sure. There's some serious shit I need to know in case Liechtenstein invades. Yes, yeah, in case they invade with their army of Porsches. What was I looking for? Dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night. Alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe. I didn't die, says Joe. I didn't die. They shot you, Joe. By God, says I. Him standing by my side. Says Joe, what they forgot to kill went on to organize. Went on to organize. Standing there, as big as life, smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they forgot to kill went on to organize. Went on to organize. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill where workers strike and organize, it's there you'll find Joe Hill. It's there you'll find Joe Hill. Now Joe, last night alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. There's somebody asked if I have a green and black song. I sure do. I'll do that then. Glad I caught that. We'll do this one. This is a song about the present and the future and what we need to do about it. There's a really complicated introduction. Let's see. Okay. Then I have to remember how it goes. Death toll keeps rising, mounting each time I turn on my phone. Another mass shooting, another free fire zone. Failed states of America, white supremacist rule, a society riven with victims and tools. Fires keep burning, completely out of control. Makes you miss the old days of the ozone hole. The snow is all melting, the lakes of Greenland. The best hope that I have, I hold in my hand. If there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. We might have to leave town, or maybe we'll fall beneath a hail of bullets at the shopping mall. Perhaps we'll be arrested, perhaps they'll pass us by. But wherever we might be, when we look up at the sky, if there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. They can call it natural, made by humankind. We'd like it to be different, but this is a place we find, the one we inherit, the one we're in now. Whatever might come of the future, why, when, how? If there's a tomorrow, then when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. If there's a tomorrow, and when yesterday's through, you have me, and I have you. I have So this May 1st will be the first May 1st in, I'm going to guess, since probably, I wonder. I really wonder. I bet it's the first May 1st since the early 90s, at least, that Anne Feeney has not sung somewhere. Could be the first May 1st, even further back than that. But then I'm not sure, because here in the United States, May Day is celebrated in September. Tomorrow's the 47th anniversary of the Portuguese Carnation Revolution that overthrew the fascist dictatorship. That's really good to know. And there was also a song that was the key song. I remember many people telling me about that as a topical musician traveling in Portugal. That was like pretty much the first thing many people said to me was, do you know that song? And I still don't know that song, but there was a song, and I'm sure Mustard Toast maybe knows it, but that was the song that they were going to play that basically people involved knew. When you hear that song coming from the tanks, you go out on the streets. Grandola Via Morena, Mustard Toast tells us. Yes. And when they heard that song, and then one of the stories somebody said was like, how during the Portuguese sort of left-wing coup revolution, whatever we call that, when the left-wing junior officers were out on the streets with tanks, they were stopping at the stoplights, like normal traffic, and somebody said, "Hey, what are you doing stopping at the stoplights? Like, is this a fucking revolution or what?" And one of the tank drivers said, "Well, yeah, it's a revolution, but we don't want anybody to get hurt." I love that. Love that. Let's see. Anne Feeney is an old friend, and she died just less than a couple of months ago of COVID-19 at the age of 69. I dreamed I saw Anne Feeney. It was on a picket line somewhere in the world where the workers did combine, cheering on the strikers with a guitar in her hand from Oregon to Ireland. I dreamed I saw Anne Feeney amid the foggy glow of the flashbang grenades outside the WDO, singing songs against the war at a military fort or making arguments in court. I dreamed I saw Anne Feeney in the Texas hills, singing songs around a torch at Kerrville, crossing every bridge she could with the wheels of a car, with some CDs in the trunk, along with a guitar. I dreamed I saw Anne Feeney. I dreamed she never fell. She was in Baja with her grandkids doing swell, sharing free advice on how to find the cheapest flights so you can be throwing Swedish snowballs beneath the northern lights. I dreamed I saw Anne Feeney get her first dose of vaccine instead of reading of the people who died of COVID-19 in the New York Times. Nice things that they said, but I so much wish we could have, and here still instead. I dreamed I saw Anne Feeney So it's been such a pleasure having all you guys here. And I'm sorry about all the wonderful requests. I love all of those requests. I'd love to do all of them. But actually, next weekend, May 1st, I will be. I just discovered today I volunteered to participate in IWW sing-along event that's being, I believe, co-sponsored by the IWW in Scotland and in Ireland, if I got that right. And I'm sorry if I don't have that right. No insult intended, but I believe I have that right, that the Scottish and Irish IWW are teaming up to have a May 1st celebration online, and I am honored to be participating in it. Although I'm, ostensibly neither Scottish nor Irish, but whatever that means. For an American mutt who's Scottish and Irish and Russian and Hungarian. And I hope to see you there next weekend. I'll post about that on various, social media and stuff, the details, but it's like 7 p.m. GMT, Irish Sea Time, as they say. Next Saturday, and I'll be participating in also events, in Winnipeg. Winnipeg May Works on Sunday, Anne Feeney commemorative event on Sunday, May 2nd at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. in Winnipeg, I believe. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Time, middle of the night in Europe, reasonable morning time in Australia. Where can you find it, Jack? I'll post that on online, but it's Clydeside IWW. There we go. I'm a delegate, and I'm going to be giving this. Oh, that's other stuff on. Oh, good. Others, and there's other stuff on May. Yeah, lots going on. I have various IWW sponsored events on May 1st, and and so many different May Day traditions as well. As Laura Marie is commenting about dancing around the maypole. That's also spring, May 1st. All kinds of May 1st things related to May 1st, but. Here's a song related to May 1st. This was found in the attic of a deceased member of the Industrial Workers of the World in 1917 and published in the Industrial Worker, which was one of many regular IWW publications of the time. It was published as a poem, and then who set it to music? I don't know. But this is how it goes, more or less, as I learned it from Utah Phillips and others. It's called "We Have Fed You All for 1,000 Years." Do it right. If I can remember. We have fed you all for 1,000 years, yet you hail us still unfed. Though there's never a dollar of all your wealth, but hails the workers dead. We have given our best to give you rest, and you lie on crimson wool. If blood be the price of all your wealth, good God, we have paid it full. There's never a mine blown skyward now. We're buried alive for you. There's never a wreck drifts shoreward now, but we are its ghastly crew. Go reckon our dead by the forges red and the factories where we spin. If blood be the price of your cursed wealth, good God, we have paid it in. We have fed you all for 1,000 years. That was our doom, you know. From the days when you chained us in your fields to the strike of a week ago. You have taken our lives and our jobs and our pride, and we're told it's your legal share. If blood be the price of your lawful wealth, good God, we have paid it fair. See you on May 1st. And if you're in Portland, come meet me at Kelly Butte. Bring an instrument, bring a tent. Let's stop this madness. How's the people? Policeman acquitted for shooting and killing a man in Norway yesterday. Thank you, Rolf. Rolf Solvang, once head of the ex-convicts union in Norway, keeping track of this same shit over there. They do it there, they just don't do it as often. I remember in Norway they strangled a man who was having a mental health crisis at a social services office outside of the office in Trondheim, killing him. That was like 10 years ago. We burnt a police car in front of the office. It was a toy police car, but it was still really fun. Although it was a very tragic occasion. It was a very large toy police car, and it had really toxic paint on it, so it made a good fire. Okay. On that note, I'm not sure if I should be laughing or crying at it, but thank you for joining me for this concert, which I do pretty much at the same time, 1 p.m. Pacific every last Saturday of the month, and I'll just keep that up at least until the borders come down and the venues open, maybe after that too. Oh, my baby woke up. She's with her mom. Okay. Bye for now, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's been really fun, actually. I've enjoyed all the commentary. And, yeah, see you around. I'll be doing more shows, interviewing people at 10 a.m. Pacific throughout the week on probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and doing other gigs over the weekend, next weekend, May 1st weekend. And I'll be putting out an essay on Counterpunch in the next few days. And if you're around the Portland area physically, come to Kelly Butte. Let's hang out. Bye for now, everybody. See ya. Remember, don't pay the rent unless you really have to. Mutual aid will get us through. Trust your neighbors.